so excited for this vlog because I've had books piling up that I am anticipating to be 5-star reads, and I am finally starting to dive into that stack of books, and I'm bringing y'all along for it. If you are new here, hello, my name is Molly. I am so happy you are here. On my channel, you will find really just all of the things that I love. So it's a lot of running. I'm currently training for a marathon, a lot of reading. I love to read. I love cozy hobbies. I love needle pointing, and really just like my life in Austin and Disney things and whatnot. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, I definitely hope you will subscribe and stick around. I feel like I've gotten my reading groove back. Not that I was ever in a slump or even really lost it, but towards the beginning of the year, I was just reading a lot less than I usually do. And I feel like I am back in my routine of just reading a lot, reaching more for books than I am for my phone. That's usually what the culprit is that I'm just like scrolling way too much and not reaching for books. So just getting back into all of the books that I want to read. I think a big reason of that too is like, one, I mean, we only have one life to live and I don't want to spend it just scrolling on my phone. But two, there are just so many books that I want to read, and sometimes it's like overwhelming the amount of books that are on my list of books I want to read. I feel like every time I read one, I like hear about several others that I want to read. Then I add those to my TBR list, and this spring there were so many like new releases and whatnot. So I don't know, I just feel like there are so many books out there that I want to read, and I just want to make sure that I'm carving out the time to actually read them and enjoy them. So in this video, I have some new releases, but also books that I've just either heard about for a long time or are from one of my favorite authors, and they've written other books that I haven't had a chance to read yet. So yeah, it'll kind of just be a mix of different books in this video. And if you like this, don't worry, I've got plenty more books that I'm so excited to read. So just let me know if you want any more reading vlogs. But there are several books from some of my very favorite authors. Like books that they have written are my in my top 5 favorite books I've ever read. And so they've written some other ones that I haven't had a chance to read yet. I'm gonna read those, gonna read a new release, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about this. Overall, the genres that I really gravitate towards are literary fiction, historical fiction. I love thrillers and mysteries, and I do really love romance books as well. I feel like recently I've just been reading them more kind of like as palate cleansers in between other books that feel a little bit heavier, just because romance is, for the most part, a lot lighter to read than like historical fiction or something like that. But overall, those are the type of books that I like. And yeah, I'm just so excited to dive into all of these books. To start it off, we are starting with Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. If you have heard me talking about my favorite book so far this year, then you are well aware that it is My Friends by Fredrik Backman, which was his newest release. And that was only my second Fredrik Backman book, but both of the books that I have read from him literally have just been blown away. My Friends was 6 stars. I'm obsessed with it. I tell everyone to read it because it was so good, and everyone is shocked when I tell them I haven't read Anxious People. So I feel like it is finally time to read this book, and I am predicting it will be 5 stars because my other 2 books from him, I have highly rated them. I actually grabbed this one at Half Price Books a couple months ago when we were there, and I was like, I know I'm gonna eventually want to read this, like maybe not right now, and I just feel like now is the time. I actually really don't know too much about what this book is about. I think there is something to do with like a bank heist situation, but Fredrik Backman's writing just blows me away every time. He writes everything just so beautifully and so like realistically too. Like the way that he describes everything, I'm like, that is the most beautiful and accurate depiction of anything related to this topic that I have ever read in my entire life. So I'm expecting nothing short of this book, but let's go ahead and like see what it is about exactly. It says it is a poignant, charming novel about a crime that never took place, a would-be bank robber who disappears into thin air, and 8 extremely anxious strangers who find they have more in common than they ever imagined. I still don't really know what it's about, to be honest, reading that. I knew there was something with like a bank situation, so let's just go ahead and get started. It's a couple days later from when I last filmed, and I have finished Anxious People, and unfortunately, I do not have really any great things to say about it. That's a little dramatic, but y'all, I did not enjoy this book. Like, I was very disappointed. As I mentioned, I have only read 2 books by Fredrik Backman, but both of them are books that will stick with me forever. And one of his books, his newest one, My Friends, is my favorite book that I've read so far in 2025. It was a 6-star read for me. And this one, I don't know what it was. It just... honestly, it really annoyed me. I feel like bad saying that, but I just felt like I was getting so annoyed and so frustrated throughout this entire book. It is such like a fun and very whimsical plot. I mentioned, I think I read the synopsis, like a very short synopsis right at the beginning of this video, but essentially it is this story of a like bank heist turned hostage situation gone wrong. Like, that wasn't his intention to hold anyone hostage, and so it is the story of like the policeman interrogating everyone during that. You've got the perspective of the person who was the bank like heister and like the one who was going to like rob the bank and held everyone hostage, and there's definitely a deeper meaning throughout it, so look up trigger warnings for sure. And I liked the deeper meaning, of course, but for some reason something about this book was just driving me insane, and I didn't really like the characters. A lot of the dialogue with the characters just absolutely bugged the heck out of me, so I don't know, maybe I wasn't in the right state of mind to read it, but overall, it just really fell flat for me, and I was really annoyed by it. So, if you've read this book, and it's your favorite, I am so sorry. I feel like, I hope I didn't offend anyone by saying that. I know sometimes when someone, like, talks poorly about a book I love, I'm like so personally offended by that, even though I didn't write it and have nothing to do with it, but, like, I take it so offensively, so I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings by saying that. But if you read this book, I would love to hear your thoughts, because I feel like it's one of his like most popular books. So yeah, I don't know what it was. It just like really missed the mark for me. So wanted to share that. I will be starting a new book tonight if we end up reading tonight. It is Friday night, so we might go out and do something, but I would love to start another book, especially because I just feel like there's so many good books coming out right now, especially in the spring and even this summer. I'm like, I have so many books I want to read. So I'm excited to dive into the next book that I have, and it's another one. All of these books are ones that I have like really high hopes for, but this one in particular, I know which one I'm going to read. I'm so excited for it. There's nothing else for him here. I'm so excited to have started my next book, which y'all just saw is Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I actually have not read the Magnolia Park series, but I feel like I follow a lot of booktubers and like on Book Talk, I just see everyone talking about it and everyone loves it. So because of that, I have very high hopes for the Conditions of Will. Also because a lot of the people that I follow, they have the same taste as me. And so since a lot of them rated it 5 stars, I just feel like it's going to be something that I love. And I'm actually already a little over 100, maybe even 150 pages in because we got back last night and I just started to read before bed and wasn't filming it. But I am, over 100 pages in. And at first I was like, okay, like I'm definitely going to like this. It is family drama with a side of romance. I wouldn't say it's entirely a romance book, and I'm really enjoying the family drama side of things as well as the romance part, but I think I'm realizing that I don't like fully love just romance books anymore. I feel like when I was kind of getting back into reading, I just like was really loving all the romance, and now when I read a book that's like
all romance. It just like doesn't do it for me. So I'm excited that this has like this subplot of romance, but overall it's more like a family drama. At least that's how I'm feeling so far, like 150 pages into it. We also made our coffee before coming here and are just having a little cozy reading morning. So yeah, when I started, I was like, okay, I'm definitely intrigued. And now like 150 pages in, I'm like, okay, I'm very curious to see what happens. I feel like right now it's kind of giving 4-star. I wouldn't say we're at like 5-star feelings yet, but again, I'm not even halfway. So let's see how I feel after this reading session.
Cozy, perfect day for reading because it is thunderstorming outside. So we have like turned off all the lights in our house and just have all of the cozy lamps and candles. And it is just the best ambiance for reading. And I'm so excited to share that I finished Conditions of Will in less than 48 hours. I was so nervous before I started because I was like, ooh, that's a thicker book than what I've been reading. Like, I hope it doesn't take me too long. It's about like 450 pages. Nope, no issues with that. Truly could not put this book down. Like, it was so good, and I feel like it was everything I needed, especially after finishing a book that I really didn't love. Sometimes that tends to like put me in a little bit more of a reading slump, and the exact opposite happened with Conditions of Will. In case you don't know, Jessa Hastings is the author of a very popular series called Magnolia Parks, which I have not read, but it is definitely on my list now. Since this was my first Jessa Hastings book, I really didn't know what to expect in terms of like her style of writing, what I like her characters, and happy to confirm that all of the above was just an A++ for me. This book follows Georgia and her 3 siblings, and there's just a lot of family drama. Georgia has not talked or seen several of her family members, including her mom, her dad, her older sister, and brother in over 5 years. And all of a sudden her dad dies, and it brings her and her brother and the family just all back together in South Carolina. And the family drama was just so good in this book, and I genuinely loved the characters so much. Georgia is probably one of my favorite characters that I have read in a long time. She was just like a very strong female lead and extremely smart as well. Like, she had a very interesting background and like story, but just like her area of work was super interesting to me, and I just like loved how it was woven throughout the book. So loved that. And then there was a subplot of romance as well, and honestly I found myself like more intrigued by the family drama than the romance, but the romance was super believable. Like, I really loved the characters. It was Georgia and, you know, someone else as well. So I just loved this book. I finished it in less than 48 hours, like I said, and I haven't entirely nailed down what I'm going to rate it. I'm thinking 4.5. It wasn't quite at 5 stars for me. Not because there was anything wrong with it. Like, it was such a perfect book. It had twists in it as well at the end that I just like wasn't expecting, and maybe kind of emotional at the end as well. But I feel like when I'm looking at my other 5-star reads, it's not quite there. So I think I'm landing on a 4.5, mostly just because a lot of the 5-star and like 6-star reads, there's just like a huge like emotion associated with it, whether it made me like sob or it made me laugh out loud a lot, and it didn't draw like a ton of emotion while there were some emotional parts. So that's all. I highly recommend, especially if you are in a reading rut. I just thought it was such a perfect read, like truly ate it up and could not put it down. It was also very fast paced as well, so that helped. Like I said, it is just the perfect day for reading. So it is time to jump right into my next book. I am so excited to be reading The Lion Women of Tehran. If you have not watched any of my other reading vlogs or don't follow me on Instagram, then you might not know that Marjan Kamali's other book, The Stationery Shop, is one of my very favorite books, probably in my top like 1 or 2. It might be my favorite book I've ever read, honestly. I love that book. I'm due for a reread, but I have been like sitting on this one because I have been waiting for the perfect time to read it. And I also think a part of me is a little bit nervous that I'm not gonna love it as much as The Stationery Shop, which obviously is a possibility. But when you like love books from authors and they have a new one come out, I feel like there is a little bit like, you're like, oh my gosh, like what if it's not good? So that's kind of how I've been feeling. But I've talked to several people who loved The Stationery Shop and they said they also loved this one as well. And so I'm like, okay, I am in the mood. I am ready. I can't wait. It's a fairly short book. It's only a little over 300 pages. Like, it just feels a lot smaller than a lot of the other books I have been grabbing. So I cannot wait to read this. I know it is a beautiful story of friendship. It's about two girls who became friends when they were younger, and then, you know, life happens, and for whatever reason, they go in their separate paths and don't really see each other. And I'm pretty sure it's a story that's told throughout the decades, and so we'll get the perspective from when they were kids, when they were teenagers, and now in their adult life, and kind of see how their lives get woven back together. That's really all I know. If you can't tell, I really don't study, like, not study, but I don't read the plots too closely of books that I think I'm going to like. I feel like I just hear like a review once, and if it's from someone who reads a lot of books that I like, I will usually add it to my list, or if it's from authors who I know I love, I really don't pay that much attention to what the plot is because I just assume I'm gonna love it. So I have such high hopes for this book, and I'm so excited to finally be reading it. It's been out for, I think, maybe even a year now at this point, and now is the time to finally read it. Is next morning, and I am happy to report that I finished The Lion Women of Tehran in one sitting. I could not put this book down. I loved it so much. As y'all know, Marjan Kamali is one of my favorite authors because she wrote one of my very favorite books. She's actually got one more book that I haven't read yet that I'm obviously adding to my list, but because of that, this was one of my most anticipated reads, and I was so nervous that I was going to fall short in comparison to her other one that I love so much, and it definitely did not. I loved this book so much, and I ended up rating this one 4.5 stars, at least for now. I am still thinking about my rating, and I just loved these characters so much. It is such a beautiful story of friendship between Homa and Ellie and their two little girls, and you know, we follow them over the course of their life, and they come from two completely different backgrounds, and I just felt it was so realistic, and even just like the threads of friendship, while I can't, you know, necessarily relate to what they're going through, or both like because of where they live and the political climate, and then also because of when it took place, because it's historical fiction. There are so many threads of just like friendship that are relatable in this book, and I really loved that. I kept like waiting for some huge just like gut punch like there was in Stationery Shop, and while I did cry at the end, I think it was more because it was just like so moving and so powerful, especially as a female. I just like, oh my gosh, that's just like the strong like female energy, and I was just like so rooting for them. I think that's what like made me cry at the end. So it didn't deliver as much of an emotional punch as the Stationery Shop, so if you're worried about that, at least I didn't think it did. But overall, I really loved this book. I feel like for me, what takes a book from a 4.5 to a 5 is just if I find myself like continuing to think about it in the days to come. So if my rating has changed, I will put that below. But it's like with books that you hear me talk about nonstop, like My Friends and Stationery Shop, I feel like those books just like live rent-free in my head now. Like they are characters that will forever live with me, and that's why they're like so highly rated. But yeah, I really loved this book, and like I had mentioned, it's, you know, a fairly short book, just a little over 300 pages, so I did spend most of my day reading, but it was definitely very doable and bingeable to read in one day. And I can't believe that we're already on to the 4th book of this video and still haven't found a 5-star read yet, but we have found some really incredible books, so I've got high hopes for the last one that I have here, which is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And so many people are shocked to find this out, but I just read my first TJR book on the way back from Paris, back to Austin a couple weeks ago. The first book I read of hers was Daisy Jones and the Six, because it's one of my mom's very favorite books. And so I don't know, for some reason I was like very hesitant to read it, and obviously so many people have recommended The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I don't know, for whatever reason I was just like procrastinating on reading anything from her. Read Daisy Jones and ate it up, absolutely devoured it, read it the entire flight back and finished it. So this is only my second book of her, which I don't know, I feel like a lot of people that are reading it, they've probably read like all of her books, so I feel like I'm kind of in the minority that this is still like one of my kind of first impressions of her outside of Daisy Jones and the Six. So I am 100 pages in, and I don't know if I'm gonna have any more time to read this morning, but I was just getting jazzed telling y'all about what book comes next for this video. So yeah, 100 pages in, and I like it so far. I feel like I was a little hesitant about this one. My book club's actually reading it. I know I still would have read it, but hesitant just because like the NASA and like space niche genre plot is not really something that interests me. Like I'm not really someone that's that interested in anything to do with space or like science or anything like that. So yeah, as of now, it's like very, very intriguing to me, and I'm starting to really enjoy the characters. I'm not going to explain what it's about because you've probably seen reviews from like 1,000 people already, but yeah, it's a historical fiction, you know, with themes of science and NASA and whatnot. So hopefully I'll have some good reading time later today, but I just wanted to go ahead and share what I'm reading. In yet again another striped shirt. I've been editing all morning and I'm like, hold up. I knew I wore that blue and red striped shirt a lot because it's probably my favorite shirt that I own right now. Literally like $13 from Gap. Love it. Highly recommend. But literally like almost all, if not all, of the other outfits that I've worn, including this today unintentionally, have been striped shirts. So I promise I do own things outside of striped shirts, but that just happened to be the theme throughout the book. And it has been a couple days since I finished Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, so let's talk about it. Like I mentioned, this is only my second book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I am just dying to read pretty much all of her other books right now. I'm like, every single one of them has been added to my list. So definitely let me know below if you made it this far and are a Taylor Jenkins Reid lover. Let me know which book of hers you think I should read next. I feel like most people are recommending Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I've also heard people mention a couple of the other ones too. So I'm so excited to read more of her books because this one delivered as well. I really didn't know what to expect, especially with it being kind of like the NASA and science overall like theme, and I mentioned that I'm just like not a big science person, so I was like, I don't know if it'll interest me, but it most definitely did. I was actually so pleasantly surprised. I think there was only like 1 or 2 sections that I kind of skimmed because I was like, oh, this is getting like a little too sciencey for me. But overall, I'm assuming that the author did her research when she was writing about this book, and so I felt like it was all so fascinating to just learn more about the way like astronauts get chosen and the process that they go to prepare for flying for space. Obviously the parts like within the actual spaceship / like shuttle was super interesting too. I found myself way more interested in that part of the book than I really expected to. I would be curious if you do have like a science or like space background, what you thought of it. But for me, as someone who doesn't really know that much and wasn't really interested in that area to begin with, I actually really enjoyed it. I loved the characters. I honestly like kind of wish the book had been a little bit longer because I felt like there was a lot more we could have like dove into with Joan and Vanessa. I feel like there was so much more to their story that we could have learned, and just like more, you know, about like their relationship developing. I can't talk, but I love their relationship. I felt like it was just so realistic, and the way it was paced just felt like really realistic too. I was really rooting for them both and like rooting for them in their careers and the dreams that they wanted to accomplish. Like this book just had so many likable characters. There were a couple that I was like, oh, you grind my gears, but even with them, I'm like, I want more. Like, I wish there had been more character development. I thought the pacing of this book was excellent. It was another book that I just like could not put down. The books in this video, minus Anxious People, I literally just like flew through because I could not put them down. So the pacing was so great. Like I said, I'm just so eager to read more of her other books just to keep like being able to compare all of them and whatnot. But I ended up giving this one a 4.5 stars. Absolutely loved it. Really recommend it. Like I mentioned, I feel like I just like wanted a little bit more from the characters, and while the ending of course made me cry, it's pretty easy, I feel like, to make me cry. It takes a lot to make me like sob in a book, but it did make me cry. But I also felt like in a way it was kind of predictable as well. But yeah, I really loved it. I'm so excited. I'm like, I want to go to the bookstore right now and get some more of her books. But I loved it. Definitely let me know your thoughts. I feel like this one's like a very polarizing book, as most like new releases from favorite authors are. I feel like people, you know, I've seen reviews on all sides of like the spectrum, so would love to hear what you thought of it. And with that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and close out this vlog. I had so much fun bringing you all along for reading these 4 books, reading books that I was so excited to read. And honestly, while none of them were 5 stars, they were all minus Anxious People, they were all so good, and I just really loved. It's just made me like so excited to really get back to reading at a pace where I'm reading like as many books as I can each week and using a lot of my time to read, because I genuinely do love it. There's just nothing like finding and like losing yourself in a really good book. So yeah, I feel like it was also, you know, I kind of said this here and there, but really a book that is going to take me from 4.5 to 5 stars is one, if it made me feel really extreme emotions, like really crying or really laughing. Like there are some books that were romance, like kind of rom-coms, and they just had me like kicking my feet and laughing so hard that they did make it to 5 stars. And then the other one is if I just like keep thinking about the characters for like weeks and months to come. Like I've mentioned several books in this video, I just know those books will never leave me. And the characters, I just like feel like I just like love them so much. So really, I think it's like the emotional thing for me that takes a book to the 5 star, like 6 star level. So I don't give out 5 and 6 star. I definitely don't give out 6 stars, but I don't give out my 5 stars like that easily. Like I'll really only have a couple 5 star reads every single year. So yeah, that's why all of them I kind of landed at 4.5, because I loved them, recommended them, but they just like weren't quite in the 5 star range for me. And I know everyone kind of ranks their books differently, so I feel like that background of how I am ranking is helpful too. But definitely let me know if you have read anything good recently that you think I would like. I just love hearing what people are reading. And yeah, let me know if you're interested in more reading vlogs, because like I said, I've got a lot of books to get through. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.